All right, on page 258, there's this thing called title evidence. This is what the buyer is going to also look for. So I want to take a small segue into something we didn't talk about in the title work, which we're going to talk about now. All right? When an agent lists a property, there are two different ways to get the title work done. And I'll show you both of them, and then I'm going to show you what's wrong with both of them, because they're both wrong. One's less wrong than the other, but it does become a real pain in the butt. The day you list a property, you could call your favorite title rep and say, hey, Paula, I just listed a property. I need you to pull me what they call a TBD, to be determined, because we don't know who the people call it a preliminary title. I need you to pull title work on 12 Smith Street. Remember, title works historically. So they would pull the title work on the day you call them and say, hey, I listed it today. It's January the 1st. I want you to pull title work. Then you wait along, and all of a sudden you get an offer. And then you go to closing. Now, right before closing, they're going to do it one more time, right? Because follow me here. Is it not possible that something has happened to the title between the day you listed it on January the 1st and the day you finally got to closing here in the middle of July? Right? It is. So they've got to do it one more time. So the day before closing, they're going to pull title work again. But now they only need to go back to the day they did the original one, because they already did the original one. That is called a bring down. There's a term for that, bring down. That's from the closing day to the day they did the first one. For them to do it. Now here's the problem with this. You're going to see here in about an hour that RESPA does not allow the seller to control where the title company goes. Or what it's easier way of saying is the buyer can make an offer and actually say, I want to go to this title work. So the second way to do title work is when you list the property, you just don't call anybody and say, you know what, we're not going to pull title work yet. We're going to wait till we get our first offer and pull the title work and go backwards. Because I could call Paula at Security Title or wherever she worked and get an offer that says, hey, we want to go to Chicago Title, where you're going to find here in RESPA in just a minute that, okay, then we go to Chicago Title. What has happened now is I made my title company pull a TBD, and then I took the order away from them because the buyer made us go somewhere else. So there's the downside to that. There's the downside to doing it the day you list. Because the offer that comes in may ask you to go to Chicago Title, and now your title company that you had do work won't get paid. All right? Which isn't too much of a problem unless that happens 4 or 5 times in a row, and then you're going to get a sales rep in your office. Hey, you know, we've pulled 4 title works. We need to make sure one of them gets closed. All right? So what you do is you wait until the day you get the offer, let the buyer go, oh, I want security title. And then the day you close, they are going to do it again, right? That's also still called a bring down here as well. The only difference is the title so what you have is title being pulled the day you have the offer, and then the day it closes, 30 days later, there's a bring down. All right? Now, here's the problem with this method. And if you hit the problem with this method, is way worse than the other one. And I've had it happen. There's nothing worse than taking an offer on a listing of yours and finding out it doesn't clear all the liens because your seller was wrong, lied, didn't know. So what happens is you list the house, You wait and you list the house at 179, making up a number. You get the offer at 179. When the offer comes in and then the title work comes back later, and you call your client and go, hey, did you miss any house payments? Well, yeah, I missed 4 or 5, but I really didn't want to tell you. Well, you got late fees and an attorney bill tacked on. You actually owe 181 now. And we didn't know that because we didn't pull it early in the listing like number 1.
What do you usually do?
I like number 1. It's the less of two evils. Having your title company pull it so that you can get that. When you list the property, he says, okay, I want to list it at 179. That's what I owe. So you call the TBD title company before you get an offer, and then 2 days later you get the title work. You can call them and go, dude, what the hell? We need to change the listing price because you told me 179. It ain't going to clear. So now we can at least change the listing price and stop it. So it's the least of the worst two evils. No, that's what I said. The very seldom will a title company give you an issue. Now, here's the crux of the whole story. The reality is they're all the friggin' same because they're searching public records. So the reality is when this first started happening, it was a big let's prove who's is bigger than the other. But now a lot of the agents will go, preliminary title, pull through Chicago in the agent to agent. And then I go, yeah, well, okay, whatever. I'm fine with that. When I write the offer, I'll let you. I mean, you've already got it done. So. Why would the sellers matter?
Why would the buyers want to do a different title?
Why would the buyer? Because I don't know that John doesn't know the owner of that title company is maybe doing some shenanigans behind my back. That's why John absolutely wants to use security title. Well, screw you, John, I ain't going to do that. I'm going to call the shots, and I'm going to pick Chicago. That way you have no way of controlling that because I picked it. That's the intent. It was this whole RESPA violation number 12 is that you cannot force the buyer to use any of the services that you choose for the simple fact of collusion. That's the whole thing. And like I said, now, when that first happened, a lot of the agents were arguing just for the sake of saying, I want to argue. Now, most of them are going like, it's public records. You know, she searched the Chicago title. My client goes, do we need title work? Who do you recommend? They've already picked Chicago title. Let's go with that. They're searching the public records. It really doesn't matter. 99% go, okay, because they don't know anyway. Yeah, most people don't know what title work is, and that's why you hired your agent to try and guide you in that. Now, if I've done a deal before with Miguel and I think he's shifty and all that, then I might go, you know what, let's look at something else. But 90% of the time you're going to go, yeah, whatever. It's public records. Both companies should have found the same thing because they're searching public records. How many title companies does the average broker work with? A blue million. Just had one come in here the other day. And she said, I want to be your title company. I said, okay. What are you going to do better than the title company I already got? Because I already know the devil I've got. Right? Stick with the devil you know. And she's like, well, we got great customer service. I'm like, okay, you're done. You're done. Anybody in this business that doesn't start with, we got great customer service, is done anyway. We all have that, so that's not your specialty. Yeah. Have your titles engraved on a sheet of gold foil, you'll get my business. No, really. And I told her, I said, and you guys need to think about this too when you start coming of age into your career. Most everybody you know already knows an agent. What are you going to do better than the agent they've already got? And don't say better customer service. I'm a people person. That's what I tell everybody. I'm a friggin' people person. I went into the doctor. I said, Doc, I'm having trouble keeping friends, you idiot.
Well, I have to say, experience is a clear indicator in corporate America, so it's possible it's an indicator.
Well, experiences, yeah. I mean, that's something you go and say, hey, look, I've done $27.8 million this year.
Right.
412 deals. Who do you want? But what I'm saying is when someone goes, I give good customer service, that's lip service because everybody in this industry gives good customer service or they're not in this industry for very long. What I'm saying is, I told you the other day, Scott Weinkoop does the bank-owned homes. Scott Weinkoop's been doing bank-owned home for 15 years. And I get people all the time go, I want to go into bank-owned. Really? How are you going to beat the guy that's doing it for 15 years already? Now, I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm just saying you got to find where he's deficient, and that's what you got to capitalize on. All right? One other thing I want to talk about. So what you've got is the title work that gets pulled the day you list it, or the alternative would be the day you get the offer. Then you've got this bring down that happens between the day you pulled the original title work and the day of closing. There's one other thing that gets signed. Now follow me here. I want you guys to follow me. Is it possible that the seller, the day before closing, went out and got a loan and put it and used his house as collateral, and it hasn't shown up on the title search because it just happened yesterday? The answer is yes, it could. So what the title company does is has the seller sign this third document called a seller's affidavit, or an affidavit of title that they sign right here, which says, as the seller of this property, I have placed no liens or put this property in the dangers of litigation other than the ones you already know about, which were the ones that are recorded. So what you have are kind of three. You've got the title work, you got the bring down, and now you got the seller signing this perjurized potential document that says, I have not done anything to the property that you don't know about. And if I did, he's in big, big trouble.
Is that what the same as the vendor's affidavit?
Yes. The vendor's affidavit, they call it affidavit of title, seller's affidavit. What'd you guys call it? Seller's affidavit. That's what we, in the book, it calls it an affidavit of title. Sworn statement to which the seller assures the company that no other defects are on the title. Now, it says, there's nothing out there that you don't know about, and I haven't done anything that you don't know about. I'm not involved in any lawsuits that you don't know about. So there is no way to put a problem on this. Now, funny thing is, a couple years ago, about 6 or 7 years ago, we went through this process. Couple sold their condo. He was a doctor, sold their condo furnished, and bought a new condo in Florida. They signed the documents, closed, moved to Florida, deal goes fine. I get a call from the title company about 3 days later and said, hey, where's your clients? I'm like, Florida? He's like, I need to talk to them like today. What had happened was the wife, unbeknownst, now they were both in their 70s. When they bought the new house down there, went out and used the credit card to buy all the new furniture for the new house, was actually the credit card for the secured lien on the house they just sold. So a $64,000 lien popped up on the house like 3 weeks after it closed, which is a violation of the seller's affidavit. And they said, yeah, we need to talk to him today. And they actually said, if you can wire us the money right now, which he did. He actually went to the bank and wired $64,000 because, yeah, that was the whole house. I honestly thought it wasn't that bad. You furnish a whole house for 64 grand, but she claims that she didn't know that that credit card was a home equity line of credit. Yeah. The title company will also pull what's called a mortgage reduction certificate, better known as the payoff. They will also pull the payoff. Now, that's why they need the date, because that payoff is figured to the day. Remember way back ago when we talked about listing, and we said that the listing has the closing date on it, and I said, no way in hell. And then I said, they'll put it on the purchase agreement, and you need a date for several reasons. One is you got time is of the essence on the purchase agreement so that we can close, right? The second is so we know the date we can do all the prorations to, which we're going to do that math here in a little bit. All right? So we do know the date of closing on the purchase agreement. We're going to close on April the 30th. That way, the title company can now call the seller's lender and go, what is Bob's payoff as of April the 30th? Even though today's the 15th of April, I need to know when we close. And we're going to calculate the taxes and his home ownership and the homeowners association and anything else that we need to prorate. That's why we need that day. All right? Any questions about the title? So they're going to order the title work, the bring down, they're going to sign a seller's affidavit, they're going to order the payoff, they're going to do all the prorations, they're going to do all of that. So let's go with the different audio.